Hey there, welcome back to Broken Arrow. We're on mission 9. This is still 89 Red Horizon. The situation: we are encountering another task force, well, in the middle of nowhere. Geopolitical overview, satellite surveillance and SIGINT intercepts have confirmed the presence of the last known operational Soviet carrier group, led by the Admiral Kuznetsov, maneuvering southeast of Bermuda. Supported by electronic warfare assets and a ring of aggressive submarines and support vessels, this force poses a major long-range strike threat to convoy routes and eastern seaboard operations. So our objective is to, of course, eliminate it. We are to eliminate the final Soviet Atlantic Surface Fleet and the Atlantic Subsurface Fleet. It's simply a kill mission. The objective is to neutralize the Soviet carrier group and its supporting assets before they can attack the US convoys or coastal operations. Aggressively strike targets and disrupt the capability to strike. Very good. I shall do this. Now, let's see what we have. We're going to have access to various different assets. One of them is, of course, the Theodore Roosevelt, as seen here. The Roosevelt carries a nice amount of aircraft. We've got 1990s version F-14Bs. And I'm going to send up a couple just to make sure we have some air patrols up. Air-to-air intercept loaded out with a couple of Phoenix missiles. Air-to-air intercept Phoenix confirmed. We're not presently getting an E2C, but we do have a P3B up there. We got an what you call them? P3, yeah, the Orion aircraft. Anyway, let's get one of those E2Cs up. Give me a Hawkeye so I can see something. I want to have an EA-6B for electronic warfare to either go offensive or defensive. The ship is escorted by Ticonderoga and Bunker Hill. Also, we have the Vandegrift, which appears to be an Oliver Hazard Perry, and the Nicholson, which is a Spruance-class destroyer with the VLS upgrade. Farther forward, we have Norfolk and Boston. These two submarines loaded for bear. Lots of weapons aboard, 12 torpedoes, a couple of land attack Tomahawks. Unfortunately, I don't really see these being useful, but maybe some of the harpoons can be useful. P3B is under MCON. I'm going to turn that surface search on. Can you see anything? Multiple hostile surface. You already know that? Okay, I'm seeing a very large and a couple large. And another very large farther in front of it. Okay. Now, I want you to have your total array out. Confirmed. You are presently above the layer. Norfolk.
Turn to course.
I need to go ahead 1/3. Total array out. We're going to just listen in for a second. See if there's actually anything out here before I risk the Norfolk rushing north. As for aircraft, nothing presently. Of course, the AI is still questionable. I expect the AI to launch a couple of helicopters, but most likely not aircraft. That makes this aircraft fight a bit one-sided, and unfortunately there's not that much that I could do to change that. So we'll just focus on making this as good of a battle as possible, but ideally fairly one-sided. I'm going to send my torpedoes, I'm going to get my aircraft up there and do a couple of strike missions, and we will make sure that that Atlantic force is no longer going to be a problem. Hunting down submarines is potentially going to take a little longer, because of course they're typically more difficult to detect, but a couple of S3 Vikings should give me some options there to get a nice amount of sonar buoys deployed. Let's get our wheels inside. Nicely folded up. Alright. And that is Rage 1 and Rage 2. Alright, gentlemen. I want you to go up here. Go to 35. I don't know where the enemy is going to come from. I doubt it's going to be here, so that makes likely it's going to be coming from the east if they want to have Tu-22s up there. You never know. Rage 3. Patrol there. Go to 35. That means that our AWACS is going to come up as well. We're going to have our EA-6B coming up. And of course the S3s are going to join the fight. I'll take 2 of them. beefsteak? What kind of a call sign is that? Alright. Okay, friend. You are going to take off and you're going to position yourself there. No, not the Roosevelt itself. Thank you very much. Ghost 1. Not that much of a ghost if it's going to be yelling into the void with a radar. But alright. Now, do we know what this is? We have it on sonar, we have it on radar, we have it on their emissions. And yet we know nothing. We know not what this is. Yep, there's a helo. We're going to have a couple of emissions from this guy. Yeah, I can request they identify themselves. I think they won't. 7005? Faded. And where do you see 7005? Hostile C. Okay, fine. What is the relative range? That's 168 miles to 180 miles. This means that we're most likely already going to be in range of their anti-ship weaponry. So that ought to make my life a little more interesting. The A6s... Actually, we also got A7s. The A7s, unfortunately, don't have the loadout that I seek. So I'll just have to use the A6s. That means I can throw 40 harpoons at a target. That should give me some options. Wait, the AGM-84 Echo? What is that? Because the AGM-84 Delta is the harpoon. And then we have the Echo, which is the SLAM. Standoff land attack missile. It's an anti-surface option. I don't need that. So why am I giving or getting that option for a anti-ship precision? Walleye Seeker and Data Link. Sorry, no, it is anti-surface. Huh. Somewhat heavier, shorter range than a harpoon. I think a harpoon is just good enough. I don't really see myself needing a whole lot more than that. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 2 packages of 3 and 2 packages of 2. There. Our own cruisers might also be able to pitch in. What sort of weaponry you got? Oh, you're an older one. Bunker Hill is upgraded and does come with a whole 8 Tomahawk anti-ship missiles. Yeah. Warcats. ECM bird.
Roger, turn 0, roger, turn.
Oh, it's the Kalinin. Hello. You're a big guy. Alright. I want you to go deep.
Make my depth.
Increase the head standard.
Maneuvering out.
Boston. I think you're pretty good where you presently are. If they're only doing 10 knots, I have plenty of time, because it means that at a course of 269, they're going to take about 3 hours to get there. Once they're there, that's about an 11-mile stretch. So in 3 hours, I still have plenty of time to get there. But that's just the Kalinin. This is most likely the real target, which is gonna... What's your speed? 10 knots. Oh, not a problem. Okay, so 50 knots, 50 miles is 5 hours. That means they'll be there in 5 hours. In 5 hours, I can have Boston easily do 15 miles. Easily. Warcat, go up to 10,000. Beefsteak. For a crazy call sign. Beefsteak, I need you to start laying a net of sonobuoys, because we need to be sure not to get jumped by a submarine. Good lord, you could have made that a slightly different color. No. No, I'll just do it manually. I cannot possibly see that light. There we go. Let's start laying a spread. I know I have my submarines, but it's possible something might have snuck by. So I want to make sure that we actually have the area covered. That's beefsteak 1, beefsteak 2. You're going to be doing the same thing here. And I'm just going to nicely keep my carrier back until such a time as when I actually feel like I need it. Yeah, good spread. Alright, we got Boomer 1, 2, and 3. Do we strike the Kalinin? Or do we let the Boston do that? I think the Kalinin is the most difficult target to strike. Being a Kirov and everything. Go to 10,000. I'm gonna select this as a sort of staging ground. I'm gonna fly around and attack that formation, well, ideally from outside of the vector where the Kalinin is gonna be a problem. So you're gonna go to 10,000 and prepare for attack. Got Boomer 7 coming in. Once you're ready, join up there. Go to 10,000. I know that a higher altitude flight is typically more efficient, but I don't really need to fly that far. And these things have lots and lots of endurance. So going up to 20,000 feet, whence, well, as the enemy has their radar up, is not really beneficial for me. 10,000. I'm gonna have Warcat 1 also go there. How far can you jam? You can already jam them. Good lord. But I think you're actually too low to be actively jamming. Climb to 20. Right. Now, I do have a couple more S3s that I can send into the fight, but I think the S3s can only carry 2 missiles. Oh, they can't even do that. Oh, crap. I'm getting some interference from one of the mods that I was showcasing. I'm not supposed to have the ES3 Shadow. That comes from a mod. Which is probably also why we have a slightly different loadout on this carrier relative to what you might be used to. Should have turned that mod off. Oh well, it doesn't interfere that much, so it's fine. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit to the point where the Kalinin is going to come under attack of the Boston. Bit of a derp moment. I forgot to turn on Ghost 1. And that means I can actually now see a couple of aircraft which are coming in a hurry. Completely forgot about it. So we're going to turn these guys loose. This is the bunker hill. I'm going to turn air search on. Actually, MCON. I do want to go weapons. If I tell you to go weapons free, you're not going to engage the enemy formation, are you? No, you shouldn't. Anyway, the lesson here, kids, is to keep your eyes on the point, because over here we had their EW plane, electronic warfare, which I actually detected by virtue of visual detection by Warcat 1. That's how I knew that was there. We also got P700s coming in. That's the Kalinin. Fantastic. Okay. Oh, great. They're actually sending out their Tomahawks. That was not really part of the plan, but okay, here we are. Offensive ECM in that direction. Start jamming these missiles. Ticonderoga, start jamming. Roosevelt doesn't have a jammer. The Vandegrift doesn't have a jammer. I suspect this is a wing of high-flying aircraft, 42,000 feet, coming down. And I just gave my position away. Sometimes a simple mistake can really get you into trouble. Wait, you're coming under attack? What? By you? That's a little rude there, friend. We're not supposed to have that happen. Because if they can do that, they can do that again, they can shoot down my Warcat. Problematic. I guess the Soviets still got some fight in them left. Oh, we're engaging an Udaloy. 2 Udaloys. Okay. Yeah, that'll make the engagement more interesting. That's a very, very capable AA platform. Alright, what do we got here? There's 1, 2, splash 3, 4. Wait. Those are Yak 38s. Did the carrier actually launch those? Or were those part of, let's say, the scenario creator who put them in? Interesting. Interesting. Rage 1. You're not really going to be there in time, but we can start popping some helos while we're at it. Boston versus Kalinin. Yeah, we're still a little far out. 30 miles is a bit of a stretch. The Kalinin has that massive AA net of theirs, so it's going to be very difficult to get my missiles around them. Especially at 80 miles, and these guys are 15 miles out. So I think the safest bet right now is to engage the Kalinin. Because the Kalinin needs to die. We're going to send 5 aircraft to engage that. That's going to be these 5. I don't need a laser designator, I just need missiles. The other boomers, that's boomers 1 and 7. You're going to continue on your course, and we're going to strike the Udaloy. No, I don't need to laser designate. Salve away. Strike Udaloy. And over here we got boomer 7. I want to see if I can get some missile hits on the other guy. They are jammed, but whether that's enough, I kind of doubt. At this point, the whole load of bombing aircraft is going to go home. My strike wing, they've dropped off their missiles. So now I can go and have some fun as we go back home. There's the harpoons going sea skimming. We also got the tomahawks en route. It's going to take them a while to get there. These things are traveling at 400 knots. These things are traveling at 567 knots. If this is the Udaloy, then I suspect that we're going to see the other ship there behind them being the carrier. Right there. And that carrier can also engage with aircraft and missiles. They typically have both of those loadouts, so that's a bit dangerous. Now, lots of things happening at the same time. We got a Fox 3. So you're engaging the KO-45, and we're engaging the helos here. Yeah, okay, boom. That's your KO-45, electronic warfare bird dead. Here come the missiles, which are getting jammed. And of course, we have Bunker Hill already on point to engage. Ticonderoga is also defending the formation. We got, well, hundreds of missiles ready for this formation to defend itself. So I'm not that worried about it. Drop there, drop there. Just continue on with your spread. The weather situation is not exactly helping me here detect submarines. It's quite noisy due to all of the waves. And that's going to make it a bit more difficult for me to actually get a detection. Now, my formation, and this is not strictly as, let's say, as an admiral, this is more as a scenario creator myself. Where would I put a submarine? My formation is doing 12 knots. I would want to have that submarine make contact fairly soon. Maybe in a couple of hours. So I would place it somewhere in this area. To verify that point, I'm going to have another S3 just do a couple more drops there. Are we popping helos yet? Gonna be soon. There's another P700. Yeah, see, I was trying to prevent that. The Kalinin probably isn't out of missiles yet. And she's just sent at least one more. Make that 2 more. She sent 2 more P700s. Fantastic. That's my strike package. And here comes the AA missile sight. Okay, good. Ghost 1 on station. I'm not that worried about the missiles. I'm not that worried about the planes. I'm much more worried about the submarines. That's going to be much, much bigger of a threat for me. At least for my surface units right now. Alright, we're going to lay intermittent buoys. I'm going to start deploying a wall of these things here. We'll go for a nice little circle. Took out a helo, I think. There. think this thing is vastly off course. Yep, that's a helo gone. That's another AIM-54. Engaging 7018. That's another helo. Gotta make sure my rage flight doesn't fly too close to the Kalinin, because it will shoot them down. Especially at that altitude. And good day. Okay, so that's you gone. You're 80 miles out from the Kalinin. Which is actually fairly close. Here we go. Meeting between a couple of P-700s and the defense against it. I'm hearing splashes. I'm not seeing missiles get popped. Not one. Intercepted. This one's flying high. This is the commander, if you will. Intercepted. We got two more that we know of. More missiles are on the way, but that is Tomahawks. Where's the other Rage? Here. These things have to get stopped, and I think they will. Are they both skimming? Nope, this one's just decided to go skimming. I think that one took over command of the rest of the missiles, if you will. Starting to figure out who needs to go where. And probably they're flying too low. There you go. Bunker Hill's engaging again. We still have 55 missiles available. And they definitely don't have that many P-700s aboard. Make me proud. Nope. No joy. Unless you're going for the other P-700. Okay, well done. There's another 2 granites incoming. We are interestingly not engaging them, probably because we can't do that yet. Missiles are too low. Yeah, missiles are too low. It's gonna be annoying. Ticonderoga seemingly doesn't have the same issue. No, they do. They're engaging the high-flying missiles over there. Yeah. Okay, we've got ECM deployed. If they strike my carrier, it's going to be a very, most likely deadly impact. I'm not jamming these missiles because they're flying so low. It's going to be pretty tight here. We're still not engaging them. But we're about to. Come on, Ticonderoga. Come on, Bunker Hill. Work together. Engage. Engage 1. 2. I don't care. We're going to overspend. More. Gotta send these missiles out. They're even going with guns now. They're at 11 miles. The missiles are jammed. Which is an interesting situation, but not necessarily enough to save me.
Contact faded. Track 7. Birds away. Track 7. 0.
Here it comes.
3, 4.
Got him.
Vampire.
Now the other guy. Got both. Confirm? Yes. We got both. We're in the clear. In the meanwhile, my missiles are closing in on these targets, only 40 miles out now. Rage is awfully close. Fam, says Ticonderoga. You're not throwing more missiles, but somebody else might be. Or we're just detecting the P-700s here. These are still the Tomahawks flying in. Beefsteak preparing for the next leg of the journey.
Buoy away.
Still a weird call sign.
Buoy away.
Go hit him. Are they on their descent path yet? No, they're already sea skimming. Okay, this one is still giving orders. So take it out while we have a radar lock on it. We have intercepted another one. Three missiles going for it. 4, actually. Intercepted. Well done, gentlemen. Job well done. Alright, the Kalinin, normally, I'd say at this point, is going to be moderately aware of the problem, but might not be able to engage it yet. Because these missiles are below the horizon.
2-0.
Okay, gentlemen, get the hell out of here. You're
Fox 3.
at altitude, 10,000 feet. The Kalinin might engage you if they wish to. Oh boy. Rage 1-2 is still engaging that helo.
Ceasefire.
Ceasefire. That AIM-54 is going to have to kind of fend for itself for a while. Besides, that helo is not that big of a threat. If I can just keep my bird alive, I would much prefer that over anything else. And I can always have Rage 3 take it out. Speaking of birds, I might need to get another couple of F-14s up there. Air-to-air intercept. 2, go. I can load them out with paveways. Even Mark 84 bombs, okay. I think this is part of the Twilight of Empires mod. That's why I'm seeing these missiles. These loadouts. Because I think you don't typically have those. What? Okay. A sonobuoy?
Contact faded. Track on station.
I have so many questions. 1. How are you deploying those? Because I didn't know the AI did that. 2. How many more are there? 3. How do we know it's even there? Because I don't know how we would detect a sonobuoy. Go take out that helo, will ya? Because I do need my submarines to get through. I need to make sure that I ensure the safety of those guys. Good day. Alright, Kalinin. They're still doing 10 knots, but it feels like they're almost stationary. They're going to be looking out to their port side. And eventually we'll see missiles. Only 20 miles out. Now, ideally, this first wave of harpoons is going to kill it. And then the Tomahawks are going to go, hold on, where's my target? Because this thing is already sinking, not generating a radar profile anymore. And they're going to figure out, oh, hold on, there's something else out there. So that's what we're going to engage. That's my hope for the present situation. But I think it might not go that well. Also, these missiles, these very small packages, I don't think they're going to get very close to the target. Not with 2 Udaloys. And, well, something else out there.
7050 is classified. Hostile helo.
You guys got 2 missiles, you got none. Okay, formation, disband, you're going to go home.
RTB.
Rage 1 is going to turn around and take this guy out.
Engage track 701.
Let's see if the Kalinin's taking any action yet. Range, 15 miles. By this point, normally you'd be able to see the missiles. Because you can see them coming over the... Well, they're at the horizon range, if you will, less than that. But they're getting jammed. Which is going to make their attack much more effective. Range, 10 miles. You can see they're still kind of unaware because their fire control radars are not even lighting up the missiles yet. Come on.
Contact faded. Track 7050.
Come on. Range 7 miles. You see the Kalinin? Yep, right there. Pretty distinct profile.
Track 7050.
Still not really doing much. That's interesting. I thought their burn throw would be much more effective at this point. That thing has a very powerful radar. Go on. Do something. Do we need to poke you with a stick?
7050.
These missiles are at 4 miles. The Kalinin is still not... Oh, here we go. Here we go. Kalinin defending itself. Missiles, guns. Sea-Whiz. Triple Sea-Whiz. They're gonna start nailing a bunch of these missiles. That's their short range, let's say, Sea-Whiz booster. It's the missiles on top of their Sea-Whiz. But so far, I think they might not be that effective. Good day. That's a lot of damage. That was what, 5 harpoons? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 many. Okay, she's dead. Wow. That jamming was way more effective than I'd imagined. Way more effective. Alright, that means that the playing field for you is a bit more clear. Because we can start to pop helos now. And if that went through, I wonder if this is going to go through as well. They're trying to fight me with their guns, surely. But is that enough? Udaloy has... It has them within 4 mile range. It's got their radar on. Okay, missile out. We can kill this Submarine. This mission is going to be over real fast. There's the Sea-Whiz from the Submarine. Come on, dude. Show me what you got. Guns, missiles, everything. Question is, can you stop all of them? No, you cannot. Okay. Might not be enough to... Yeah, it's enough to kill it. What? Wow. I'm actually very surprised this is going this well. I just hope Kalinin sinks fast enough for my Tomahawks not to be a waste. They still need to fly 67 miles, which is... they do 100 miles in 15 minutes. So they're gonna take another 7 minutes to take this path or so. The Kalinin might be gone by the time that they get there. Now, as the Submarine was rather unsuccessful, I think that this Udaloy is not going to have a great time either. Sea-Whiz. Seeing some pops over there, so they're definitely intercepting some missiles. Second missile launcher coming into play. Missiles are going up. You got lucky a few times, dude. Ooh, and you're not getting lucky. Oh, that should be it. Yep, Udaloy demolished. Are these guys going to still engage something else? I doubt it. So, with one salvo of missiles, we've taken out the Kalinin, we've taken out the Admiral Zakharov, and we've taken out the... What the hell is that? The Bezeprechny. That leaves them with one Udaloy, one Kiev, and something else. And the Tomahawks are still en route. Not bad, so far. The Kalinin over here is indeed sinking, and that means my Tomahawks can't actually find anything. So, their target's gone. What are they going to do next? Well, they're going to search. They're going to snake, so they're going to move in a sort of S pattern forward. And if they find something, like, oh, say an Udaloy or an aircraft carrier, like the Kiev, they're going to kill it. That's the plan. We still have a couple others. These things are aimed, I think, slightly farther east, potentially going for the Udaloy. And that means they'll also not find anything in their path. So these two will ideally change to a search mode. And once they do that, they're going to move to probably the Kiev, because it's the biggest rate of return. Rage 1 is going to return to base. I've been popping enough helicopters here. I still have Rage 5 patrolling the direct airspace of the aircraft carrier. And I can now tell them to start hunting down more helos. Yep, we've all locked onto the carrier. Now, as this was a normal formation with an Udaloy and a Sovrameni and the Kirov out front, I would have no choice. No chance to kill this thing. Just none. But that has now changed. Because it's been actually fairly easy to demolish most of these ships. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we're going to see the Kiev over here take a bunch of Tomahawks. And then it's just cleanup time between an Udaloy and, well, some semi-large, probably destroyer. They're readying another helicopter. This makes me wonder if they actually launched the Yaks for a strike, or if that was pre-done by the scenario creator. Not sure which it is. Rage 3, you guys are out of missiles. Go home. I think the carrier is very busy retrieving all sorts of aircraft. Yeah, we got them all in a landing pattern, holding pattern, right. I'll take 2 more F-14s. I think they're going to be at the back of the queue, because they probably have a lot more aircraft coming in first. Okay, where are we now? Tomahawks. Yep, these Tomahawks have changed their course. They couldn't find the Udaloy, but they can find the Kiev. Udaloy there is paying attention. These things aren't as fast, but they have sped up. They changed from, I think, a cruise speed of 400 knots to 500 knots in their attack speed. Kiev, at present, not taking a whole lot of action yet. They might be relying on the Udaloy to defend themselves. Oh, here come the missiles. There's one. Helo taken off as well. There's Suez. I believe Tomahawks don't actually pop up. They are getting intercepted though. I think a Tomahawk is just a direct into the target. It doesn't have the nice, well, had the nice pop-up effect that the harpoons do. Range to the carrier is 1.5 miles. Nope, they're intercepting everything. Good for them. Good for them. Range 1.2, 1.1, 0.95, 0.81. Are you flying too low? It's like Seaways didn't even bother. Boom. No! We're not getting jammed. That missile just dove too early. The water fully absorbed the impact of the missile. There. That's a hit. And that second one? Oh, right there. So, not as much as a fire? Nothing? Proud Russian sailors don't care about the fact that they've just been hit. These things, well, these things, these characters should probably fly overboard. But oh well. So far we have found delightfully no submarines, so I'm gonna take that as a good thing. Now, the Boston can fire only 4 Tomahawks. So it's not that great at engaging an Udaloy, because the Udaloy might very well take those missiles out. Range is 33. It's 59 for you. No, we're going to have to wait for another strike package to come in. This little guy over here might cause issues. Its course puts it directly over Boston. It also seems happy to throw a torpedo on me. And I don't exactly know how I would have been detected. The only thing I can imagine, we have company. There's a submarine guarding this formation. I don't know where. And maybe I can still save the submarine. But I definitely need to make a higher priority of shooting these helicopters down. These guys 1 mile out, they're going to definitely throw on Boston. Come on. Are they correcting course? No. Still on 327. Once I saw this helo make a direct move for Boston, I told Boston to go deep and slow. She's doing 5 knots as opposed to 10. Maybe we can find something below the layer. Again, the weather is not exactly in our favor. Come on, splash it. Flares. Got it. The weather's not exactly in our favor. And that makes hunting submarines difficult for both parties. That's 10 miles. Yeah, we can get that. Normally, I kind of take up engaging helicopters as a bit of a hobby as I'm waiting for other targets to get struck. This time around, it actually turns into a hefty priority, because these guys are apparently much more aware of the Boston than I was hoping for. Now, I should have like a 360 coverage with my sonar. I can hear behind me with the towed array. I can hear in front of me, if you will, with the main array. So, what is detecting me then? And question 2, is there an incoming torpedo, potentially? He dropped another buoy. I would be very impressed if that sonar buoy is actually capable of detecting Boston at that range under these conditions. I don't think that's likely. I don't think they'll detect Norfolk either, 'cause she's also pretty deep, 555 feet. I'm gonna vector beefsteak over. Your crazy nickname. I'm gonna see if I can drop some sonar buoys around Boston here, because something is amiss. Something's hiding. Time for a new missile strike. We have a couple of these birds up here. We're going to take a bunch of them and engage the Udaloy. We're going to take another bunch of them and engage the Kiev. So what is a bunch? It's not a scientific unit. It is 6 aircraft in total. It's 3 of them here. Sorry, 4 of them here. So it's 7 total. 4 are going to go for the Kiev, launching 16 missiles. And we're going to have 3 going for the Udaloy. If the previous engagement with the other Udaloy is anything to go by, yeah, that's going to be a fairly brief encounter. As for Boston over here, I have her surrounded with friendly sonar buoys. Some 4 miles out, some 10 miles out. The distance between these buoys is typically 3 to 4 miles. Nothing. How did they know I was here? What do they have here? I'm gonna go above the layer, because I still suspect that they have something. Something vectored that helicopter over towards Boston, and a helicopter that's just transiting does not have its torpedo bay open. So something else is aware, or was. There was another helicopter launched by Kiev. I think I've shot all of them down. Yes, there's still like one on the deck, but I think that's more of a decoration rather than anything actually useful. Udaloy also comes with a double hangar, but doesn't actually send out any more helicopters, so potentially she is done with her hangar as well. Now, I did encounter something slightly weird in this storm. If ships are in a storm, they're limited by speed. Such as this ship, it's going ordered 32, but it's actually moving at 22 knots. The carrier doesn't seem to have that problem. The carrier, if it is doing air operations, is forced by the game to do 30 knots, even in this storm. So the carrier actually pushed quite far ahead of her escorting screen by about 6 miles, and now she has to wait for her escorts to plow through the waves and get back up there with her. Thankfully by now the enemy doesn't really have any striking capability left. That is, unless there is a submarine close. But if you look at how many sonobuoys I have here, both very, very short range as well as the net at large, I think it unlikely that something can sneak through. Unlikely. Not impossible, because the buoy distance here is about 15 miles. And in this weather, I have had it happen where a sonobuoy can only pick something up at 2 miles. At any rate, I wouldn't be surprised if this mission is going to end once we take out Kiev. There is a subsurface threat mentioned in the briefing. Whether that will actually materialize, I don't know. Now, what I can try and do with Boston over here is go active. That is going to potentially invoke some response from Kiev. The Kiev can't do that much. This guy has an anti-submarine missile out to 27 miles, though. That is not something I really want to play around with, because that Silex can definitely ruin my day if they pick it up. If a ship is traveling at high speeds, they typically don't. This guy is moving at 6 knots. So I think they very well might. And that's why I am not going to go active with Boston. No matter how appealing it might be to go active and look for a target, until the point where the Udaloy is dead, I can't really take that risk. And even then you can make the case, well, once these things are dead, you can just drop sonobuoys everywhere. And I very well might. Now, the Udaloy, let's see how they're doing. We got missiles coming in about 11 miles. Low, of course, we're still jamming them. And to that point, I think they're going to be hard-pressed to go through. Also, oh, there we go. Now they got their radar on. And they got the guns going. Fire control radar, I believe, is a bit stronger than the other one, which is why you're seeing the fire control radar go off first. And that's why the guns can shoot. A little later, the missile actually gets available and starts joining this fight. But if they don't act soon, they won't have to worry about launching missiles at all. Kiev's also trying to fight. Our missile launcher is still stationary, it's not doing anything. They have definitely intercepted a bunch, and they're spoofing. Electronic warfare against these missiles is making it much more difficult for them to actually get in, and can cause them to dip, which would of course drive them right into the water. For now though, it seems like the Udaloy doesn't quite get lucky. There's the pop-up phase. Sea is trying to track. No, you're not going to be able to stop all of that, I think. There we go. That's 4 impacts. 1 missed. But this guy... No, they're not going to retarget. Kiev now also starts getting pummeled by harpoons. That's a big carrier, but that's a lot of missiles. That's a lot of missiles. Can you survive that? As for this Chilikin, it's just a fleet auxiliary. It's a tanker, it's a supply ship. And all they can do now is watch as their allies burn. The carrier towards the back, the Udaloy towards their port side. They don't have much to contribute to this fight. The Udaloy has been eliminated. So now arguably I can just engage the Chilikin with a couple of harpoons. But more interestingly, I can use active sonar. Yeah, you got nothing that can help out your friend. I can use active sonar and I can start dropping some more buoys. So let's go do that. No, not that spread. No. That's a little better. Control Alt, right click, and you're gonna get a nice little spread. Beefsteak 1. Yeah, we're gonna drop it right next to the Kiev, because the Kiev is gone. Very good. Alright, if I launch harpoons, everybody's going to know where I'm at. So I'm not going to use her. I'm instead going to use this one. We're going to send just 2 missiles against Chilikin, because I really don't need more. It's just a fleet auxiliary. And with the destruction of that ship, I think the mission will end. 2 more gift packages coming over towards the Chilikin. And yeah, no defenses whatsoever. No chaff, flares, sea whiz, missiles, nothing. So unfortunately for this guy, that is probably going to be the end of it. Hit. The poor guy's even getting jammed. Like, that can really even make a difference for him. If that doesn't sink him, I still have another strike package out here. Boomer 8. That's another 3 birds, so that's another 12 missiles. But I think they're gonna be hard-pressed to survive that encounter. As for whatever's around me, I have no idea. Let's see if we can grab a quick selfie with the almost sinking Chilikin. I can even torpedo this guy. Why not? Why not? Poor guy's already getting hit. I got some Mark 46s available. Why not? Stay low, 50 feet. And smile for the camera. A bit farther afield. Pilot's not taking the most ideal route there. But I guess I have something to do with that. Go hunt. There you go. Torpedoes locked on. And... oh. Okay, good. I was wondering, what the hell was that? Where are you going? But no, they've decided to course correct. And they've caused a few more holes at the bottom of the ship. Where the hell that submarine is, or whatever platform there is, I don't know. There we go. Atlantic waters secured. The Soviet Atlantic fleet has been eliminated. With their carriers sunk and support ships destroyed, we've shattered their ability to operate in the region. US naval dominance is restored. Hooray for the US Navy. But where is everybody else? Also, is this actually mission end, or... let's have a listen.
Turn to course. 1. Buoy away.
Nothing. Right, well, I'm not going to spend time fishing out the entire Atlantic for some dug-in submarines, especially not in this weather. If they're not going to cause an issue for Boston, for Norfolk, or for my carrier force, I don't really mind it. So, that's the end of Mission 9. We only got 1 left. Mission number 10. Coming up soon. Thank you for watching, hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you soon for more missions.